EQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
What a weekend. Hope you got to enjoy it, family, for Easter or whatever it might be. Weather was perfect. And we got a Final Four on the men's side. We got a big women's game tonight. The Boats opened a new league and a new season, the UFL, with a win. That was nice. It was a good beginning, and then they held on at the very end and were able to pull it off. So they are 1-0. We got medals coming your way like we always do on Mondays. A lot of that will be NCAA centered. Then Jason Munz will join us. He wrote some interesting things over the past few days, including that there will be several staff changes. We'll see about that. He's also talking about the portal and some turnstile numbers, which, you know, it's tied into what kind of money they would get rebated by the Grizzlies. So they're going to get a little bit. They're not going to get the full complimentary that you got to have 10,000 per game. I am so bad at guessing these things because when I'm told the scan count, I'm always like 3,000-4,000 off. It's crazy. They did sell 12,270 tickets per game, but on average, 6,827 showed up. That's down from 7,458 the year before. We'll get those thoughts from Munzie. Munzie, by the way, on the Elite Eight, he was 6 of 8 in his predictions, which is a total turnaround for him. We'll talk with Jason Munz, bottom of the hour, and then our final segment, we'll make some baseball predictions. Who's the top at the East, the Central, and the West in both divisions? Who'll play in the ALCS? Who's going to play in the World Series? And who will win? That should be a lot of fun. I'm sitting in the Family Leisure studio, and I got to check with Billy, and I got to check with Lindsay, because at the moment, we're still in the factory direct pricing sale. But you know, come April, something major usually happens. Right now, though, cash in on great swimming pools, spas, and patio furniture deals. Factory direct. If it's going to have that kind of price tag on it, you're going to save money like $1,000 to $5,000 off on the spas and the swim spas. All you got to do is sort of mosey over to I-40 and Wooden Road, go a little bit to the north and check to the east, and there you will find Family Leisure with all kinds of deals just waiting for you. Be the first in line for installation for a new pool. Now's the time to get in at Family Leisure. My goodness, the games were so good this week. Just so good. I felt bad for Houston. They hang with Duke even though they lost in the first half their best player. You might remember Jamal Shed going down. Jamal Shed was the player that Mike DeCourcy said, if I was drafting a team from all the teams in the NCAA, he's the first player I'd pick to make a team. And to hang with Duke, well, Duke got very fortunate that they were able to get the opportunity to play Houston so shorthanded, losing a guy like Jamal Shed. But then again came NC State and their comeuppance yesterday. That was amazing. The performance, and we'll get into this in medals, by Zach Edey. Hey, what a showdown! Zach Edey and Dalton Connect. They were both coming up so big, play after play, possession after possession, and finally Zach Edey's team just was unstoppable. He was just too good yesterday. He did something hasn't been done in 34 years. So pretty amazing stuff, I thought, on the NCAA front. And now we've got our Final Four. It's UConn against Alabama, and UConn is an 11.5-point favorite in the game. They are the overwhelming favorites to win it all. Purdue and NC State. It's just the 6th time in history that an 11 seed has made a Final Four. The highest ever to win was Villanova in 83. They were an 8 seed. So this would be history if they were to win, but Purdue is a big 8.5-point favorite in the game. And if you got UConn and Purdue, you would have Edey against Klingen. Oh, my goodness. That would be one of the throwback matchups to an era where post players really reigned. We haven't seen that in a long time, but you might get that in this one, at least if the favorites do win. Your most impressive moment, I know you'll be involved in medals, Zach Boyd, but if there's one thing that sticks out in the Final Four, what was it for you?
NC State. I mean, considering the fact that they had to win 4 games to get into the tournament, and they have now winners of 4 more. That's the beauty of this tournament style bracket. You don't expect teams that you think they're not as good as you thought they were make deep runs. And DJ Burns, he's
become a star. There's no doubt.
No doubt.
He's become a star.
Yeah, and gosh, man,
he came from a small school. It's like Dalton Connect.
He started at Tennessee. He was on Tennessee's roster a few years ago, and then he transferred to NC State.
I want to say DJ Burns. In between, he played at a smaller school. Let me just double check that. But I am pretty sure that he played in the Big South for Winthrop. That's where he played. Winthrop. It's a little like Northern Colorado and Dalton Connect. And you get these guys who maybe didn't make it the first time around, go below, play well, get another shot because of the way the portal works now, come in and become a star. And let's be honest, Dalton Connect you heard about all year long. I mean, because he was making his case to be the SEC Player of the Year. So that's not a major surprise. But DJ Burns, did you really know of DJ Burns until this tournament started?
Never heard of him. Never heard of him.
No.
And that's the beauty of March Madness.
That is.
It's to get the names that you don't expect to hear every week to come out and become stars in their own right.
Let's get some medals because I've got a bunch. It's all brought to you by our title and presenting sponsor. That's Homer Skelton Hyundai, and I've passed a few by on the road. These new Santa Fe's, they're bigger. They're almost as big as the Palisade. They got that third row that's in there. You can knock it down and make a huge trunk, but it's there. It's the perfect family car now. It has changed. It's better. It's absolutely quieter. From tire to roof, they've made changes that make this Santa Fe the best SUV they've ever made. Go test drive it, because if you do, you'll want it. I promise. Go down Highway 78, that's Lamar, first exit in Mississippi's Craft Road. Turn left. Go see Chris True. Go see the gang. Tell them we sent you and say, I've got to try the new Santa Fe. And if you do, you'll get hooked. I'm warning you. The Santa Fe from Homer Skelton Hyundai. All right, let's start with medals. I'll begin baseball-wise because we're going to give our predictions a little bit later. But I will give the New York Yankees a bronze medal. They sweep the mighty Houston Astros that I think are really a good team. They beat them 4 straight, so they start the season 4-0. And I'll give the same thing to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Enjoy this while you've got it, Pittsburgh, because I don't expect a lot out of you. But the Pirates sweep the Miami Marlins, so they're off to a 4-0 start. I'm going to give Steven Yeager a bronze medal. Maybe should have been higher, but most of my medals are coming from basketball. But Steven Yeager was one of the winningest players ever on the Korn Ferry Tour. That's how he got on the PGA Tour, because he was so good on the Korn Ferry Tour. And he had to beat some really good players yesterday. Tony Finau, Taylor Moore, but the best was Scotty Scheffler, who maybe should have won this thing. He would have won 3 in a row, but he still finishes tied for second. And Steven Jaeger gets the win of the Houston Open on that old golf course, Memorial Park. They'd been there years before. They've come back to that course, and I enjoy watching it. Jaeger gets his first. He gets a bronze medal from me. Silver medal, I got to give LeBron James a silver medal. Career high in threes. He had 9 yesterday, 40 points in a win, and he joins Michael Jordan as the only 39-year-olds ever to have multiple 40-point games in a season at that age. LeBron is ageless. I'm telling you, the guy is as good. Michael Jordan wasn't as good as his old self at age 39, the way LeBron is. Now, I think Michael Jordan's the greatest player who ever played the game. But as an old guy, LeBron, hands down, the very best. I got to give the UConn Huskies, the men team, a silver medal just because they had the longest run I've ever seen in an NCAA tournament game. 30-0. Are you kidding me? 30-0 over Illinois. They were hanging in the game, and then 30-0. That's crazy. So they have now won 10 straight NCAA tournament games by double digits. I don't know if we'll ever see that again. A 30-0 run and 10 straight wins in the tournament by double digits? That's just incredible. And then a number of golds. A gold to South Carolina's women, who are now 36-0, and they are in the Final Four for the 4th straight year. Dawn Staley's done an amazing job in that place. 4 straight Final Fours. What they do, they lost 1 game last year and no games at this point this year. That's insane. It is. Zach Edey. He and Dalton Knecht put on a show yesterday, but Zach ends up with 40 points and 16 rebounds. That's the best combination of points and rebounds combined in a game in an NCAA tournament in 34 years. And I think you got to go back to multiple double-doubles, all the way back to Oscar Robertson, to get as many as Edey has gotten in this tournament of double-doubles. It's just crazy. It's great stuff, and it's unfortunate because I know Vols fans had to be hurt. They were in the game the whole way. It was nip and tuck. They were fighting so hard, and Knecht had 37 points. I know they think the fouls were disproportionate in the free throws. I will say this. I don't even know what Rick Barnes said afterwards, but the way that you coach against Zach Edey is you just foul them and hope they don't call it. They fouled him every time. Edu, Waka, they fouled him every time. They had to bring that freshman in. He did a decent job for a little. They fouled him every time, and they called a lot of them. Now, the one thing I can understand that maybe might upset the Vols fans, and I really would like to go back and look at this, but they never call 3 seconds anymore. I don't know how many games I've done, let's say, in the last 10 years. I can remember maybe 2 3-second calls. That's it. Now, Zach Edey's in the lane a whole lot. If, for instance, I'm the NC State coach, I'm saying, guys, 3 seconds is a rule. We see the Shaq commercials, by the way, for some company about him cleaning up the paint, and he keeps leaving it. He goes, well, I got to be out in 3 seconds. That's the one area that I kind of wonder about was 3 seconds with him. And then the NC State men and women, because they're in it too. There's a 3 seed. They upset a number 1 seed, Texas, so they're in the Final Four. And then, of course, what DJ Burns and company did. They're just the 6th, 11th seed ever to make a Final Four. If they were to win, they would be the highest seed ever to win the Final Four. But they are 11.5-point underdogs to the or 8.5-point underdogs to Purdue. That line with Alabama, I know UConn's good, Alabama's starting to play defense. In the last 2 games, they've played better defense. There's no doubt about it. And they're going to put some, if they hit threes the way they did the other day, they're going to put some numbers up on UConn. I don't think they can beat UConn, but I do think that 11.5, that's an awful big line in my estimation. Those are my good medals. Zach?
So I got a couple bronze medals here. We're going to start off with the Showboats getting the first win of the UFL season. Just to kick off the new spring football
I'm
league.
off of that. You're 1-0. You can't beat that. You can't go 10-0 unless you win the first.
No, you got to start somewhere, Dave. So it's good to start 1-0, then 0-1. How about that? My other bronze medal is Brandon Clark's return. We haven't had a chance to bring up his return since last week, but
Right.
But he has officially is back on the floor.
He's played 2 games.
Yeah. At 13 points against the Magic, but that game was already kind of out of hand.
They were awful in that game.
Yeah.
Routed right from the get-go.
But
hey, let me just say this: when Jordan Goodwin is going to be your leading scorer and rebounder at 16 and 11, when you shoot all of, I think it was 26%. This is not 3-point shooting. This is shooting. 26% in the first half, 36% for the game. You're not winning many games.
No, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. Silver medals here. I got a handful of those. Silver medal is gonna go to the NCAA, the women's side of things, the stars of the women's NCAA tournament bracket. Obviously, tonight is the heavyweight matchups with Iowa and LSU and USC and UConn.
Yeah, Juju Watkins at US and Beckers.
Yeah.
And then you've got Caitlin Clark and you've got Angel Reese. And those are both 2 trash-talking guys. That should be fun.
Got to throw in Flage as well because she could talk.
Oh, yeah,
that
she
talk
sure
as well.
can too. Yeah. You got big names. I'll be curious, seriously, to see what the TV ratings are for the women's game. Just to see where they stack up with the men, because the women's ratings have gotten better and better and better. And there is like how much studying have we really done on the women's tournament this whole year on women's basketball? I did a lot with the American because I was doing the women Tigers, but honestly, you knew Watkins, you knew Becker. Those are household names now. Paige Beckers, everybody knows her since her freshman year, and she's been plagued with injuries.
Yeah.
And Juju Watkins has become a superstar this year for USC. All these names have surfaced, and so there is star power for sure that women's basketball now possesses.
My other silver medal, giving that to Juan Soto. I mean, what a start. You lead the Padres. You thought you was going to be a Super Bowl, not Super Bowl, but a World Series contender. And you join the Yankees and you get a 4-0 start to start your new season as a Yankee. 9 hits, Dave. 17 at bats, home run.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
I mean, he was just getting on base all weekend.
And in one game he won with because he's not known as a great defensive player, but he threw a runner out at the plate to win the game.
Yeah. So you're seeing the full arsenal of Juan Soto as a Yankee. He might not as a Padres, but he is as a Yankee. And then my gold medal, Dave. It is the year of the big men in the men's side of the bracket. I mean, DJ Burns, Donovan Clingan, Zach Edey. And I don't want to, even though Grant Nelson hasn't had a big tournament performance, he did show out in that game against Clemson.
Oh, no, he was major in that game. He was a star in that game.
Yeah.
He was not so much the next game, but they found other stars. Sears was unbelievable in that game.
Yeah, but the big men are on display this year.
They are.
Every year we always talk about the guards and having experience and need to be able to space the floor and have play team defense. This year, man, just throw it to the hand down low. Let the big guys rock. Man.
What's going to happen if UConn plays Purdue? You got Edey against Klingon. That's going to be, as I mentioned earlier, the biggest big man showdown since Elvin Hayes and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I may be making that up, but it's going to be pretty good. That is for sure. Any other golds?
Nope, that's the only one.
I got 2 rusts. I'll start with the Grizz shooting. I mean, I don't know what happened if they just decided to take the whole night out. Now, they only had like 8 guys available, 8 or 9 guys available. Again, same story. They even rested like Bain because, why not? And it's okay if you lose games, right? Because you're only going to get more ping pong balls in the lottery. But to shoot 26% in the first half and 36% for the game, that's pretty poor. I don't know what happened to their shooting stroke. And then my final rust goes to the Moda Center. It used to be called the Rose Garden in Portland. That's the home of the Trailblazers. And that's a really nice arena. Memphis has played in that arena several times, including in the NCAA tournament a couple of years ago. How this occurred, I don't know. You realize that was the site for the regionals for the women. So the first 2 rounds, home sites, and then they did Sweet 16 and Elite 8 all in the same place, right? And it was 2 places, Portland, Oregon, and the other was on the East Coast. I think it was Albany, right? I think that's right. In Portland, one side had the 3-point line correct. The other side was short. The amazing thing is the shorter distance, actually, they only shot 29%. They shot 33% on the proper one. They shot worse from a shorter range. Go figure. But how do you make that mistake and have the wrong 3-point line? That's crazy. But that's what happened, and when they finally realized that it was shorter on one side, they all just met and they said, you know what, we've been playing with it all this time. And both teams had won with the shorter way, so they said, let's just play it out, and they did.
That's terrible.
They get a rust, though, for not having the proper dimensions.
Yeah, that's my rust, too. I specifically direct that towards the NCAA. Because you can't tell me that we have played all these games and like nobody said anything about the court. Like they don't like the NCAA inspect the court before they ship it out to the sites.
I don't know, because you line those things. The floor's painted. They bring in new floors all the time for these things, and they're not cheap. They bring in the new floors and then they line them and paint them just for that, because the women's is 22 feet 1 3/4 inch or something like that. I have no idea how you could get it right on one side and not on the other. I would think that's the Moda Center people doing that, but it could be the NCAA. Well, it's up to the NCAA and the officials, actually, that were working the game to make sure they're correct. But somebody blew it when they were painting the lines. That's the bottom line. Who's responsible for that? Is that the Moda Center? Was that the NCAA setup people? I don't know. But it's crazy. And those are your rusts. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Golf is about to get into full swing. Oh, I'm so happy about that. And when I think golf, I think Miramichi. Did you know Miramichi Golf Course now offers memberships? They're back to doing that. And it's a great way to play more golf for less out of your pocket. Their memberships run $300 a month. That's it, plus tax. And it includes unlimited rounds and range balls. And now if you go, you have to buy range balls, but not if you're a member. No extra cart fees, priority tee time booking, and discounts in the pro shop. There is no initiation fee. So you get the cart for free too. $300 a month. To play that golf course, what a deal. And if you're not going that route, Miramichi green fees allow you to choose the right rate at the right time on the right day for your needs. If morning tee times are more important, then you can book up to 14 days in advance to reserve your spot. If the rate is more important to you, then there are discounted evening rates available to choose from. You're going to find the lowest rates on Tuesday through Thursday afternoons. Sometimes you just need to escape the hustle and bustle. This is all nature. There's only 4 homes along the course. You rarely see anything except for nature. You'll see turkeys and geese and hawks and ducks and even eagles. It's the hidden gem in Shelby County. When you need a quiet, peaceful round of golf, there's only one place that I know that can do that, all that for you, and that is Miramichi. We take a quick time out. When we come back, Jason Munns joins us. We talk Tigers, portal, coaching staff, turnstile. We talk it all with the Tigers beat writer from the CA. That is Jason Munns, and he comes your way in a minute.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Everyone's getting excited about March Crazy.
Don't you mean madness?
No, crazy. You know, the Crazy Coupe.
The crazy what?
The Crazy Coupe. $71.99 Highway 64 between Appling and Kirby Whitten. Not only do they have the best chicken wings in Memphis, they've got 32 crazy flavors to choose from.
I like to eat.
The Coupe has you covered. 1 juicy Big Burger, 2 crispy chicken tenders, fries or okra, and a drink for $19.99. Want more? How about a Crazy Coupe's ultimate family feast? 4 burgers, 8 crispy chicken tenders, choice of fries or okra, and 4 drinks for less than $70.
Now that's a crazy good price.
I think the wings are so good at the Crazy Coupe, they'll change the games to March Crazy.
That's crazy enough. It just may work. The Crazy Coupe, $71.99 Highway 64 between Appling and Kirby Whitten. Family owned and operated, and coming soon, a second location opening Ridgeway off Poplar. The Crazy Coupe. You'd be crazy not to visit the Coupe.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? Well, Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has helped over 35,000 families out of financial hardship by getting them out of bad timeshares, and they may be able to help you too. If you were misled into signing a timeshare agreement that is a lifetime commitment, if you were told timeshare is a great investment, or your maintenance fees will never go up, you need to get the facts about timeshare cancellation. For over 10 years, Wesley Financial Group has been dedicated to helping folks get out of a lifetime of debt by canceling their timeshares. So they created a timeshare exit information kit, which reveals how the timeshare industry works and what your options are for cancellation. Simply call Wesley right now and they will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free. See how you can become timeshare free. Call 800-761-0000. That's 800-761-0000. Again, 800-761-0000.
Is your home screaming for an upgrade? Listen closely, because Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing is about to make your day. First up, say goodbye to cold showers and hello to endless hot water with our tankless water heater upgrade. Not only does it save space and energy, but it also keeps the hot water flowing exactly when you need it. And here's the kicker. Switch from your old tank to a sleek, efficient tankless water heater now, and Choates will hand you a $500 credit. Yep, you heard that right. $500 back in your pocket. But wait, there's more. Clogged drains are a hassle no homeowner wants to deal with. With Choate's special offer, get your drains cleared for just $93, or it's absolutely free. That's our guarantee to make it drain, or you don't pay a dime. So why wait? Call Choates today at 347-8086 or visit us online at choateshvac.com. And remember, Choates, let our family serve your family.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Welcome back in. It is April Fool's, right? So I go to Twitter this morning, and there's got to be a fake U of M account. This has to be an April Fool's joke that says, breaking, the U of M and the Big 12 have come to an agreement. Realignment will begin in the spring of 2026. We only wish that was really true. I've got to believe that is just an April Fool's prank. Right? I want to buy that, too. in a bad way.
I would have loved for that tweet to be real, but I knew the day and what to expect.
Yeah.
So I was ahead of the curve.
Yeah, there you go. Jason Munn's going to join us in a minute. He's brought to you by Grind City Brewing, taking care of beerness in Memphis. Also, a fantastic concert venue. And they got big name groups coming in. This place is just great. If you want to go picnic now today, a little cloudy, but good temperature in the mid-70s. It's going to get a little cooler, but then a little later in the spring, the sun comes up. There's no better place to go on an afternoon, done with work, and you just want to get the great product from Grind City, like the Poppy's Pills or the God Hopper or the Tiger Tails or the Thaddeus or the Belga. They have such great products, but the scene is so cool. I mean, that's why they have such great concerts there. You see the bridges, you get a view of the downtown skyline, and this building is beautiful. Inside, great product. I mean, you can't beat it. The whole experience, Grind City, taking care of beerness and a lot more in Memphis now for quite a while. Jason Munz from the Commercial Appeal. His beat, the Tigers. Nobody covers it like he does. Good morning. How are you, Jason?
Good, Wolo. I heard you talking about the concerts there at the Grind City Brewing music festival. If I didn't already have plans for next weekend, they got Charlie Crockett playing Friday night. Love Charlie Crockett. They got Nikki Lane playing Saturday night. If I wasn't going to see Elizabeth King at Crosstown Concourse on Saturday, I'd be going to see Nikki Lane. But
listen, by the way, people should know Jason Munz is one of the great vinyl collectors of this city. Every place that we go, and sometimes it could be like way out of the way, but Jason Munz makes sure he goes to every vinyl shop that there is in every city in America. So when he tells you about an act, buddy, you better go see it.
I went to for the Mizzou trip last November. I hit 2 spots in Columbia and then 1 spot in St. Louis on the way back. It's kind of an addiction, but I think it's a relatively healthy one. But yeah, I enjoy it.
Well, I'm glad you appreciate Grind City Brewing Stage 2. That is terrific. All right, do you see got to be the prank today on Twitter or on X?
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. I saw actually the official University of Memphis, like the university account itself, posted a video where they said they were switching the mascot. They were going from the Tigers to the Squirrels, and they had like a whole video and a squirrel mascot dancing around on campus. So yeah, it's going to be a long day. On this April 1st.
Yeah, their social media people, by the way, are brilliant kids. Brilliant.
They are.
Good people and brilliant. They really are. All right, so your latest story has to do with numbers, and they're not necessarily the prettiest of numbers. Keep in mind, tickets sold, which are down a little bit, really, from the Zenith with Hardaway, but they were 12,276. But people showing up for games. And this turnstile count is on the money because it's what is the trigger for the clause the Grizzlies have with the Tigers in payment. Mm-hmm. And it's 6,827 to get the full. What is it? $800,000. You have to average 10,000 seats, fannies in the seats.
Yes.
And they got 6,827, so they'll get a prorated amount, but it's not going to be the $800,000.
Right. Yeah, I want to double check that number of exactly what the amount is where it is it 10,000? Yeah. It's 10,000 if they have an average of 10,000 or more through the turnstiles, like actual tickets scanned on the day of the game,
right?
Which differs pretty considerably usually from the announced attendance, because announced attendance takes into consideration every ticket sold, every ticket distributed. Like, say there's like a game where the university, gives complimentary tickets, comp tickets to a big corporation or an organization, a charitable organization, something like that, and those people don't show up. well, then those tickets still count toward the announced attendance. So, but yeah, it's 10,000 or more. That gets you the full 800,000. As far as I can tell, they haven't hit that number in a while. I'm not even sure they hit that number in Penny's first season as coach. But, 6,827 is the average for this season. It's down a little bit from last season. But what I found interesting is last season they had 2 games where they drew more than 9,000 people into the, butts in seats,
right,
so to speak. That was Ole Miss, which makes complete and total sense.
Houston?
I think it was, and then Houston, the Houston game, which was 13,000 and something, which also makes complete sense. Houston was number 1 in the country at the time. It's the last game of the year, so on and so forth. Senior day, all that stuff. And Memphis was obviously playing well at that point. I forget exactly what their record was, but they were playing pretty well. And
well, you knew they were going to make the NCAA tournament at that point.
Yes. This season, down a little bit, which also makes sense because of you take the changes in the schedule. There's no Houston. There's no Cincinnati, a longtime rival. There's no UCF, a team that had been in various conferences, if I'm not mistaken, with Memphis over the years. I'm pretty sure they were in Conference USA together. But either way, they'd been in the American for almost a decade together, and that's not on the schedule anymore. And you replace those teams with the likes of UTSA and Rice and, Charlotte and whoever else, North Texas. I mean, I know North Texas didn't play here, but that's gonna hurt. And then the way they struggled down the stretch of this season, that also had a lot to do with it. But all that said, going back to the beginning, I said last season they had 2 teams that drew 9,000 or more. This season they had 3 games that drew 9,000 or more. But in the end, the average was still a little bit less.
Well, they drew 9,000 for Clemson, Virginia,
and UAB.
Because the UAB was the revenge game, and
it was senior day.
Yeah, that was a good crowd. I guess I'm disappointed in those numbers. I can honestly remember. This is probably pre-Grizzlies, but the Tigers used to sell 16,000 season tickets.
Yeah. I mean, and I was actually having this conversation with somebody earlier today. There's a lot of, to compare numbers like this today to numbers of previous regimes and previous eras, it's kind of apples to oranges just because, for a lot of reasons. First of all, literally every game, if you pay for an ESPN Plus subscription, you can literally sit in the comfort of your own home every day and watch every game. Mm-hmm. You do not have to actually go, all the way to downtown and pay for concessions and parking and, various other downtown considerations. So there's that. You throw in the, inflation and the economy and all that stuff. Everything's more expensive nowadays. You've also got it's the transfer portal era, so the fans' connection, like they don't feel. Probably, I think. I don't think I'm speaking out of turn here. Like, I think a lot of people don't feel that same connection to a lot of these guys who are here for one season and they're gone. Or 2 seasons,
I think there's absolutely something to that. There's a fan that used to be a Lester Quinones fan. She would wear his jersey to her games every time. Mm-hmm. And he was like a 3-year guy, right? That's the last 3-year guy. There's nobody on the last 2 teams that are going to stick around that long. Williams, was he a 2-year guy? Was DeAndre Williams a 2-year
Williams
guy?
Was here for 3 seasons.
He didn't play the full. Years?
He didn't play the full 3 seasons because he had to sit out a few games in the first season. But yeah,
half the games, yeah.
Yeah, but he's, I mean, like, yeah, you had Malcolm Dandridge and Jaden Hardaway who'd been around for a while this past season, but in terms of, like, you know, stars, in terms of, you know, big name, you know, guys that aren't necessarily from here. I mean, I think, you know, there's something to that as well. Like, guys who aren't from here stay for a long time. They endear themselves to the fans. That is going to be happening less and less. And I think the fans are, you know, feeling that.
Yeah.
And,
well,
and
it would go a long way if you could get your best player back for 2 years, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's David Jones. If
Sure.
you got David Jones back for a second year, that's going to build you up some tickets, right?
Without a doubt. You would certainly hope so.
And that star power is an argument for David Jones to say, I want the best NIL money, which I think is in this day and age, that's a no-brainer.
That is another factor.
I don't know how much that stands for or what that means, but I would say that if I were David Jones, I'd be going, I've got to have the best of the contracts.
Oh yeah, he's got bargaining. He's certainly got bargaining power after the season that he had and what his return could mean for this program. You know, and the other part of it is, I think what sort of gets lost in this whole transfer portal era is the players don't feel this. They're not compelled to even try to connect with the fan base. You know, they don't feel compelled to endear themselves to the local fans, and yeah, again, I think
can I take that a step further? Because
Sure.
I thought about this too. I always would tell my kids, I want you to go to college. I want you to at least experience it, because there is a culture to college that
Right.
you learn beyond the classroom. All right, these guys, I hate to say it, every one of them take their classes online. The odds are a good percentage of them have been on South Campus but not main campus, right?
Yeah.
So they don't even get the sense of being a student with their brothers and sisters because they're isolated. They stay in their apartment with other athletes. They go to ball games, they go to practice, and they learn online. That's what they go to class, probably in the Finch Center tutoring sessions with their tutor. They don't even go on the main campus.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's a lot of factors, I think, that play a role in the dwindling. You know, I mean, last year was actually up year over year from the season before, which was the Imani Bates, Jalen Duran, Landers Nolly, that season. So last season was up. This season's a little bit down from the season before. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I mean, because next season is pivotal in many ways.
Oh yeah. I'll get in the portal in a second, but you also said something very interesting. You wrote in your article about Rick Stansbury returning that there would be, in your words, several staff changes. Can you elaborate on that at all?
I think it's a little bit premature right now because nothing has actually been formally, officially done. But so yes, my expectation, however, is that there's going to be a number of changes, and not just one or two. And I've said that a couple of times in stories, including the one you referenced about Rick. I anticipate there to be, and I'm not saying necessarily like a large scale blanket turnover. I'm not anticipating that, but I think it's going to be a mix of turnover and a mix of changes, if that makes any sense. I feel like I expect there to be some people, or maybe one or two people who are currently on staff who do return. I think there's probably one or two people currently on staff. There's going to be more than one or two who return. Obviously, Rick Stansbury has told me he intends to come back. I think there's probably a couple of others, if not, 3 or 4 others, but I think a couple of the ones who do come back might be coming back in different roles. And then I think the rest will be, they will either seek new opportunities or, one way or the other, they won't be back. So I think this is going to be there's going to be a bunch of change, not necessarily all turnover, but I think there's going to be a lot of change on this, on the coaching staff for this offseason.
All right. What's the latest on the portal? Last time we spoke a week ago, Penny was going to take it slow and easy. There have been no announcements yet. There's, I don't know how many people in the portal, because I see ESPN's ranking the top 50 portal people. So there's going to be a lot of movement here sooner rather than later. What are you hearing?
I think we're still in a being patient mode. Like that's the thing with Memphis this offseason with regard to the roster and everything. It's going to be a lot different than fans and even media are used to. I kind of feel like a fan in a way. I'm kind of having, some, for lack of a better term, withdrawals, because every off season we're so used to this rapid fire, like sort of every day there's something new to talk about. And it's because, Memphis has been aggressive and they've cast a very wide net, every off season, and they usually do it pretty quick. Now that doesn't always, obviously we know that doesn't mean they get guys quickly, but they're getting visitors and they're getting, they're putting out offers and they're talking to people and people are talking to them and that sort of thing. And I think there's some of that going on right now, but I think Memphis has decided this offseason to take a much more measured approach. I think Memphis has a much better idea at this stage of the game for what they want, and they're not going to settle. Like, they're not going, if they don't get this guy or that guy or whatever, if something doesn't pan out, they're not just going to automatically be like, okay, we missed on that guy, let's just go take the next guy just because.
Mm-hmm.
Just because,
I do know this, though. He wants him here by at least summer second semester because he doesn't want to have to go through late acquisitions like last year where you never build that chemistry, and that was a part of the issue last year. So we'll wait and see. All right, last thing. I know you'll probably do this in the paper, but I'm going to get it first. UConn, Alabama, Purdue, NC State. Are you going underdogs like you did for the Elite Eight? How are you doing this?
I want to so bad, Wolo. I want to believe DJ Burns is going to be Zach Edey's kryptonite. I want to believe that. Because DJ Burns, I tweeted this yesterday, he represents all that is good and right in this world. You know what I mean?
You like Winthrop, huh?
That's how I feel about DJ Burns. He left Tennessee, number one. His career started at Tennessee.
Yeah. Zach mentioned that earlier. Then he went to Winthrop.
Exactly, and now he's at NC State, and he's slaying all these giants, and I love it. And he's doing it with a smile on his face, and he's doing it, like he doesn't look like everybody else. He doesn't look like your prototypical March Madness hero, but by God, he's getting it done, and I love it. But
he's not stopping Edey, buddy.
Yeah, did you see what Zach Edey just did to Dalton Connect in the closing moments of that game?
Well, to Adu and Waka, that's who he did it to.
Well, yeah, but he had the big block on Connect and the pivotal in the closing minutes, and he scored 40 dadgum points, and it seemed like he got every stinking rebound there was to get. So I got to go with Purdue, and then nobody's beating UConn.
I think the Edey Klingon matchup. No, that will be an unbelievable war.
Get your salivary glands ready for that.
There you go. We'll talk about it next Monday. Thank you, my friend. As always, I appreciate it.
All right, bye, Will.
That is Jason Munns from the Commercial Appeal. He's brought to you by the Eflin Insurance Team. Never, ever sacrifice great service when you're trying to get protected. That's why it's so smart for you to collaborate with the Eflin Insurance team. Matt or his team, Grant, Andrew, Heath, are all there. They want to get to know you and your family so they know how to protect your home, your car, your future with life insurance. That's what they do. They get to know your family. They get to figure it all out. They will definitely say, what can you afford? And then they figured out the best protection. Same thing with small to mid-sized businesses. They get to know you. They get to know your product, your employees, what's your budget, and then they find the perfect commercial insurance to protect that entity, to protect your business. They got to get to know you first. That's what they do. All you got to do is call 901-386-GER, because they're big Tiger fans. That's 901-386-4777. Let them get to know you so they can protect you on so many fronts. The Eflin Insurance team. We'll pause for a second. When we come back, we make our baseball picks real quick right here on Wolo and Friends.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5-Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5-Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5-Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5-Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5-Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Genesis Diamonds came to Memphis to change the way people here buy diamonds. Response has been incredible, as our radical approach and no middleman markups have shown how other jewelers mark up their natural diamonds. And now we're showing you behind the curtain on lab-grown diamonds as well. For example, one major retailer is selling a pair of 5-carat round lab-grown diamond stud earrings for $18,000. Our price is just $8,900. That's less than half their price. Or their 3-carat lab-grown diamond earrings priced at $8,000, Genesis price $4,900. A savings of more than $3,000 with better quality diamonds. If they're charging this much on lab-grown diamonds, kind of makes you wonder what else they're selling at the same outrageous markup. But now you have a choice. At Genesis Diamonds, we guarantee to beat anyone else's price, and our other non-commissioned trusted advisors are here to give you all the information with details you can trust and the strongest warranties in America. Genesis Diamonds at Poplar and Perkins Extended.
You don't have to be an executive to enjoy the Executive Happy Hour at 117 Prime, Memphis's premier downtown dining destination, but you'll feel like one. From 4 to 6 in the afternoon, Tuesday through Saturday, find your way to the bar at 117 Prime, because that's where the Executive Happy Hour happens. And enjoy $1.50 Gulf oysters, $4 domestic beers, $7 house wines, and $7 cocktails, a daiquiri, an old-fashioned, a margarita, or a martini, and soak up the atmosphere at 117 Prime like a big shot.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
All we hear is Radio Gaga, Radio Goo, Radio Gaga.
All right, let's make our baseball picks. We're underway. We already know the Yankees off to a good start. Pirates off to a good start. A couple of others that took their series 3-zip. In the American League East, I like Baltimore 1, Yankees 2. In the American League Central, I like Minnesota and then Detroit. And in the West, Houston, even though they've started off 0-4, and the Texas Rangers. Yankees, though, will face Texas in the American League Championship Series. I got the Yankees going to the World Series. What's your AL side, Zach Boyd?
Well, just following your pattern here, your format.
Yeah.
So I got the Yankees and the Orioles in that order in the East. I like the Minnesota Twins. I would throw in the Kansas City Royals.
Oh wow.
I need a curveball team this year. Like there's always been a team that we never expected to be a part at the end of the season. I'm going with the Royals, but we'll see.
Okay.
And then give me the Rangers and the Astros in the West.
We're in agreement there.
And at the end of the season, I told Greg and Eli that I like the Baltimore Orioles in the World Series. So give me the Orioles and the Rangers in the World Series. I mean, in the American League.
In the ALCS. All right. And who have you got winning to go to the World Series? Baltimore?
Give me Baltimore.
All right. In the National League East, I like Atlanta and then the Phillies. I like the Cubs in the Central. I know not a great start, 1-2, but I have faith in this team. I think the Cardinals, some pick last, some pick to finish second in that division. I think they will finish second in the division. In the West, the Dodgers and Arizona, and I think that's the closest because I think San Francisco and San Diego are not chopped liver either. But I like those two. Then in the NLCS, I like the Dodgers and the Phillies. This time it's the Dodgers that go to the World Series. How have you got it?
So Angels and Phillies in the East as well. I will say that the Central is not my favorite division so far.
Right. I don't blame you.
I'm being honest. But if I had to choose, give me the Cubs, give me the Reds.
Okay.
And then Diamondbacks and the Dodgers, but the Giants are right there amongst those teams.
That's a great division. Then who have you got in the NLCS?
Give me the Braves and the Diamondbacks.
Oh, so LA's out of it. Then who wins that and goes to the World Series?
Give me the Diamondbacks. Let's go back to back. Let's go back.
You're going back to back with that. I like. So I got the Yankees and the Dodgers in the World Series. I think the LA Dodgers are your World Series champions. You've got Baltimore. You've got Arizona. Who wins the World Series?
Diamondbacks going to win.
You got the Arizona. So we both got National League teams to win the World Series. Those are our picks. We'll remember them. If Brett Norsworth is listening, believe me, he'll let us know. There's no doubt about that. And that'll wrap up our Monday. Our final portion of the show brought to you by The Spirit Shop. That's Eddie Connor's beautiful place, that little log cabin you passed by a million times right there at Poplar and St. Nick. 4848 Poplar, just down from Clark Tower. Inside, you'll find a lot of product, a lot of choices. Anything from all the local the beers, everything that's made in Memphis, I promise you, you will find in there every kind of wine. From California to France, German wine, Italian, everything. He's got it in there. It's amazing. And you get education. He'll tell you what's good, what has this sort of a taste. You like oaky, he'll steer you in the right direction. And then, of course, there's bourbon, there's rare bourbon, there's middle grade, same thing with tequila and gin. Everything that's got a spirit, even a rub for your cocktail to rim your drink, he's got it. I promise. At The Spirit Shop. Go see Eddie. You'll thank me later. That'll do it for us. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Johnny Radio's next. Have a great day, everybody.